Alright guys, what's going on? Back at it with another Dokkan Battle video. Just kidding. It's not. It's actually a tier list. But this is going to be completely different from any tier list you've ever seen. What I'm saying is this shit is going to be fucked. And you're going to think I'm... If you skip to the end, you're going to think I'm crazy. Sorry, I try so hard not to cuss. It's a bit hard. I want to go off, just saying the F word, and I just try to hold myself back. I've recorded this video 3 times fully. It's just been too long. I want it to be less than some time, so I'm going to try to go this really quick. Okay, just know that these units are based on value, completely, totally on value. For an example, how much attack do they do, okay? How much defense do they have? How good are they on their significant team? How often are you using them? How fun are they? Everything that a unit has, hype, I would say, is probably the least amount of value in this list. Hype that has nothing to do with it. But all those 5 things that I mentioned, they have a lot. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start. I'm going to try to fly. So let's go ahead. The last tier is going to be not usable with Beerus and Whis. You see right there. Oh, and before I start, this also has the transformation of non-transformed units. So we're going to do a what-if scenario, like, if you had an item that gave units the ability to just transform without any of their stupid requirements, how good would they be? Would they be better? Would they be about the same? This list will go into that also. So anyways, coming in at the last thing is Beerus and Whis. Why? Because they're not a fun unit at all. I have them. I don't run them on any of their teams. It's so hard to get their 18 key super, and I never find myself wanting to use them because they also have no defense, and it's hard to get their 18 key super. Okay, moving on is trash. You can only use them for the LR World Tournament, which that mode itself is so trash. It's so boring that this guy only has a use in that game mode. That's it. He attacks very high but has 0 defense. So you'd rather use the physical Broly. So the one that just got its CCA. Let's move on. Tier D. Now, this is a tier where these guys, I use them very rarely. Only when, I'm like, oh, I haven't used Majin Vegeta in a while. Let me use them. I'm bored of everyone else. And that's it. Goten and Trunks are fine cards. These can both get their best super attacks with fair ease. But I just don't find myself ever putting them in any team. So, you guys can argue with me in the comment section about what you think, what did I do wrong. But let me just finish with everything. Yeah, but these guys, they're not fun to use, right? They have no viability, etc. Okay, Tier C. This is when it starts to amp up a little bit. So we're going to start off with LR Physical Cell. The only reason I even use him is because Int Cell just came out a while back. But he's relatively new. And, I use him at times. Sometimes I don't. But a lot of times I do find myself bringing him because he does have that AoE super. And he links decently. Int Cell does not have a amazing linking partner. But, he's basically the best he's got. And Super Saiyan 3 Goku, it's really hard for him to get his 18 key super. In order for him to do that, he needs to be absolutely optimized on the Super Saiyan 3 team, and that's the issue I have with him. Who's running the Super Saiyan 3 team in 2020? No one. So, but whenever I'm using a tech team and need a good tech defensive unit, I'll throw him on there. So that's why he's high up there. Anyways, moving on to Tier B, and as you see right here, okay, so anyways, this Gohan, very old. They updated his animations, so that bumped him up a tier. If not, he'd probably be C. Simply because he has 0 defense. And the LR androids, You don't need them. Though the reason why they're so a bit low, B I think still a very good tier. But the reason they're a bit low is because you don't need them. I've done no item runs on the Android stage without them. I don't have them. I've never pulled for them, nor do I care. I never see anyone talk about them. They're not hype. They were released at a bad time, I think. And they're very boring, plain. They're not cool. They're not a cool unit. When they released, nobody was expecting them. Nobody pulled for them except for like Goresh, which he pulled basically all the units. So yeah, since no one summoned, Goresh got all the luck and he pulled every single unit that everyone otherwise would have. LR Bojack, he's still an amazing unit, but he's definitely fallen off quite a bit due to his age. And nothing much more I can say about that. He's a good defensive unit, good attacker. That's it. He's just mid at both. He used to be one of the best, but now he's fallen off. And we have LR Trunks. Now this guy could be moved up. We're gonna go ahead and Now that guy, he could be moved up, but I might go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move him up. He does not deserve to be with this trash. Okay, tier A. Now this is what I'm talking about, the transformation units. This is, androids transformed into Android 16 switch mechanic. Sorry, not transformed, but to them it's the switch mechanic. He's a beast. He crits all the time, but like I said, you don't need him. Why am I going to run a unit I don't need? And you can only use them really efficiently on the Android team. And he only stays on for like 2 turns? Or 1? I forgot. I think it's 2, yeah. I think it's 2 turns. Yeah, that's it. He only stays on for 2 turns. So, if this was like their whole mechanic after 3 turns, if it was just him, then he'd probably be higher. But he's only on there for 2 turns, which doesn't really help a lot. But he's a beast. When he transforms, he is a beast. Switches out, sorry. But anyways, LR Bardock. I love LR Bardock. He has great defense, great attacking power, and he seals, I think. Seals and defense down, I think. And he's just a great unit overall. I sometimes, with everything, especially Battlefield, I find myself using him a lot. And then we have LR Rose and Zamasu Tech, really old unit. The only reason they're even up this high is because the Int Rose just came out, and they're apparently his best linking partner. So that's the only reason they're this high. Int Cell has trash transformation restrictions. If it was not for that, he would get bumped up higher. Okay, Trunks and Mai are amazing, but their defense and attack is a bit lackluster. A bit. If it was a bit higher, they would be a bit higher. So, but I think A is a perfect spot for them. Okay, then the boy I just moved up, LR Physical Trunks. Sorry for disrespecting him. Putting him in B. I could also move Gohan up, but I feel like that's a good spot for him. B is like decent, right? Okay, so LR Physical Trunks. At free dupe, he can crit an additional, which is not bad. It's he has a 50% chance of crit, which a lot of times that never goes off for me, but that may be just me. I don't know. And now I have 3 free-to-play units on this list. Okay, I've used LR Goku Black, the Easy A one, the one that just Easy A'd, extensively. And although he's a very good attacker, he doesn't have much defense, and you need some kind of defense, and he just gets slaughtered. So, anyways, Int got the Int SBR reward, Int Goku. I always find myself using him. He's not the best of units, but he's good enough that I always, if I need one more unit, I always find myself throwing him in there because he does that support, he dodges, and he stuns. So he's a very good unit. Okay, now we're going to move on to the top dogs. S tier, LR Int Godku. He is a monster. He just came out. The reason he's not higher is because you don't need any dupes in him, and right here, I'm considering him at no dupes. Now, all these I'm really considering at no dupes, right? I'm not considering them at rainbow. I have a few of these guys rainbowed, and that's not what I'm looking at. I'm not, because most people don't have them rainbowed, right? I think, me personally, looking at everything rainbowed, it's good at times, but sometimes you have to take a step back. And, most people do not have everything rainbowed. So when you have all these damage calcs that look at everything rainbowed, it really messes with people's mind. So I'm looking at all these units at kind of the free-to-play level. And of course, if at the rainbow level, I'm also going to take that into account a little bit. But more than anything, just the free-to-play level. So that's why this guy is so high, because he just does everything. There's not much more I can say about that. He does everything except additional at free-to-play, which is amazing. You just pull one of this guy, and you don't need any more copies. Okay, LR Frieza, amazing linking partner with the TUR cooler that's about to come out on Global. So if you got this guy, you need TUR cooler. He's going to make him 10 times better. Okay, LR Tech Broly. You're going to ask, this is his normal state, that's why he's so low. And that's all I have to say about that. Okay, the GT Trio, they're, I'd say, good enough, because they're the best leader for a free-to-play team, right? If you get the game, get these guys, you just need to grind up a couple free-to-play LRs, and you'll be 100% set to go. And that's all you need. You just need these guys and free-to-play, and you'll be good to go for a lot of the events. You'll easily be able to beat most of the game, except for, specific SBRs and stuff like that. But the other 90% of the game you'll be able to beat. Okay, and then the two fusions, they're still the two best leaders for each of their respective categories. And, Patara, 170 attack, Fusion, 170 attack. They're still the best leader for that. So that's why I consider them so high. Just simply because of that reason. They have high defense and a relatively decent attack stat for how old they are. And yeah, these guys always are tanking pretty good. Okay, now at Z tier. Alright, excuse me. There's two more tiers above this one, okay? Disclaimer. But the Super Saiyan 4s, they could maybe be bumped up a tier. But the only reason I didn't do that is because I feel like at free-to-play, I take these guys into SBR, and they're taking so much damage. That's how I beat it. I beat it with these guys when I bought them with the red coins. I never pulled them. And I have them at free dupe. They're amazing characters. If they just could build up their passive, that's their weakness. Their passive. Goku needs time to build defense, and Vegeta needs time to build offense. And that's their weakness. If they didn't have that, if they just started at their full passive, turn 1, they would 100% just be on top. But them just starting lower, it's bad for them. Baby, he's a beast in his respective categories. He's a beast. That's all I can say. Okay, Agility Gohan. The reason I have him so high, because I just love his stacking mechanic. He's a good unit. It's just his transformation mechanic is probably the worst thing. Like, I might have to drop him a tier just simply because how bad his transformation mechanic is. Have one Android, have one Goku, have one Super Saiyan, one Goku transform mid-fight against a Frieza. Like, what the? Bro, you cannot get that. Like, bro, you're never getting that transformation, bro. He needs to get flashbacks? Like, what the fuck? Alright, anyways, moving on. Int LR Cell transformed. Now, like I said, now we really start getting into the transformations. If there was an item that came into the game and gave us, gave us the transformation instantly in a turn, this guy would be up here. He may be even higher, especially in SBR. But then you have LR Strength Vegito. The reason he's so high is because he's 100% free to play, and that's why. If not, if he was summonable, he'd probably be at B tier. But anyways, let's just keep going. And now we have that double Z action. LR Gumku. He does everything. If there's a team that he can be on, I throw him on there. That's it for that. And LR Tech Broly. He's amazing damage dealer, but the thing is, he only gets his active skill one turn, and then he gets that 24 key. And then after that, I find it a little bit hard to get that 24 key consistently. And then you have AGL Gohan. Let's see. He, I think, much like the Int counterpart, is amazing. And once you've stacked up defense with his normal Gohan, then he'll be amazing defensively. But yeah, if you could just get his transformation, I think it'd be solidified that he's this high up. Anyways, Tech, Goku, and Frieza. They're the backpack. They carry their team. It's that simple. They get a 14 million attack stat, which, yeah, I mean, it's a bit outrageous. They're usually not going to do that on an optimal team. You have to really set them up for that. But they just backpack their team. And then you have LR Physical Gogeta transformed. This guy, the only reason he's not a tier higher is because he's missing a little bit of damage to keep up with every single person up here. That's the only reason. If not, he'd definitely be up here. His defense is good enough to be up here. Alright, anyways, let's get to the last tier. Hopefully this is not too long. Now we have the God tier. This, you basically need every unit in here if you don't have them. But anyways, okay. So, of course, I'm not even going to talk about the two guys that just came out. LR Rose, I think he's debatable. I mean, I don't care if I don't care who's in front of him. I just put him up here. Doesn't really matter to me what rank he is. He's definitely not 1 or 2. These guys are 100% 1 and 2. Every other one on this list can just move. But anyways, then you have Kill and Caulifla. Of course, they're up here. They're amazing. I mean, I hate them because they have no right to be that good. But then you have the Broly, Chilai, and Lembo. And they're an amazing card because they make you think about what you're going to do. And then you have Goten and Trunks, which are a really good stacking unit. And that's all I have to say about that. They're just amazing stackers. And this one, okay. Now, this one, in my personal opinion, if you could, off the start, have LR Int Vegito transformed, I think he would be the third best. I've always thought that he's better. Transformed, I've always thought that he's better than LR Kale and Caulifla, simply because the counter mechanic to me is just so busted. Especially now that you can put, I believe you can put 6+ crits on him. So that will mean he has a 42 chance to crit instead of his previous 30%. But, okay, that's going to be it for the tier list. I mean, yeah, all these guys, I mean, these two are 100% just locked in. Everyone else, I feel like everyone can have their own opinion kind of thing, depending on what you like. But that's my tier list. Hopefully you stuck by. Hopefully it's not too long. And make sure you like and subscribe. And that's about it. Thank you.